He was a senior at Texas A&M and I was a freshman. Jordy he commands a room, and he just caught my eye right off the bat, and I said, "Who is that guy over there?" And they said, "Oh, that's our president, that's Jordy Scott." I said, "Oh, I'm gonna marry him." And I kind of made it my mission for him to notice me.
We were married on November 1st, 2008.
We love wine, and there's a beautiful winery. It's called Delaney Vineyards. It was a beautiful backdrop.
Like millions of Americans, JJ and Jordy Scott were living their life unaware that they both carried the defective gene that causes cystic fibrosis. Happily married for several years, they decided it was time to start a family.
We are due February 27th. However, we were told that they might induce a little early, so she might be here on Valentine's Day.
They are now preparing for the birth of their first child.
And a little girl.
Little girl.
They've decided on a name.
Sloan Madison Scott.
Sloan Madison has a namesake.
She does. We were told that she would have cystic fibrosis. And Jordy's cousin had CF.
I had a little cousin who was 14 named Madison Dallas. She also had cystic fibrosis. This past October, she eventually lost her very long and particularly difficult fight with cystic fibrosis.
I pray you'll be alright and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know.
We knew CF was in his family. I had never heard of it before knowing Madison, but we never took it seriously like we should have. You know, we should have gotten Jordy tested when we knew that our future was with one another, and I should have gotten tested before.
Until we got our diagnosis, I didn't realize that having a first cousin who had cystic fibrosis, that my odds were actually 1 in 8.
With the family connection to CF, the Scotts have volunteered at the North Texas Wine Opener for the last several years.
Well, his mother, she just wants to give back, and with Maddie, you know, being such a severe case of CF, it was obvious that that's where all of our attention was going to be as a family. So she had the opportunity through a European bread company to donate bread to the organizations. And then she knew our strengths as people. So she nominated me to be the box girl. And so I've been the box girl at the CF events for the last couple years for the Box of Hope, and Jordy's been there helping with the bread.
Knowing this far in advance, it has definitely allowed us to kind of prevent a situation where we are learning how to be parents for the first time, and at the same time are having to stay emotionally strong because we just found out that our daughter has cystic fibrosis. We've got a 6-month head start on, you know, being emotionally strong.
That emotional strength would come from Maddie herself.
I really didn't know how to talk to Madison about us having a daughter that had cystic fibrosis. I didn't want to bring up anything that would make her scared or anything like that. And what I didn't realize is that she was a lot braver than we were with it. Madison was probably the strongest person that I've ever met in my life. Just the way that she, you know, decided that she wasn't going to let the disease control her.
Madison wanted to be she wanted to research. She wanted to be a doctor, and she wanted to find the cure. So, and she was smart enough to do it. Both of our parents are doctors, and that helps. And then just her own drive. She told the doctors what her medicines were. The doctors didn't tell her. And I can't wait. I hope that Sloan and her have already met in heaven, and I hope that they have had this conversation already, so Sloan is just, you know, coming to me to get refreshed. So she came to us on Valentine's Day, 2 weeks early, and it was an amazing experience. I've people talk about labor being horrible and awful, and that just was not our case.
The NICU team was, I guess, on site for us, so there's an extra 6 doctors and nurses in there.
She was low birth weight, so they wanted to monitor her, and with CF on top of it, our main concern was malnutrition. So we got her on enzymes by day 3, and she loves food.
Yeah.
Don't you, baby?
She does love food.
Don't you?
Sloan is given enzymes mixed with applesauce to help her digestive system. This will allow her body to get the nutrients she needs.
This applesauce seems to work well because I can put it on there with the right amount. And then we have our salt. It's 1/64 of a teaspoon with each feeding, so that's 1/8 of a teaspoon a day. So it goes on the applesauce like so. And then Creon is the enzymes that she takes, and she gets one of these with each of her feedings. So I just sprinkle this on top of the applesauce, and then I go get my little baby girl and feed her. Yes, wake up. Ready? Are you ready? Look what I have for you. Good job. Good job. Oh, you.
Along with the enzymes, Sloan is given more medication throughout the day.
Basically, she gets Prevacid once a day for her stomach acid. She also takes these Source CF vitamins. They are special pediatric vitamins for kids with a CF, just to have a bunch of extra higher amounts of fat-soluble vitamins in there. So I just, get some milk and we pour it in here, and then usually pop one of these little Prevacids out and put that in there too. And then she gets 1 squirt of this, all goes in the bottle and gets warmed up and fed to her like a, normal, regular baby.
Everything is, pretty normal. She goes through CPT, chest physical therapy, twice a day. And that has been challenging just on us, because it really is, you have to get in a rhythm, and she's so little. It can really kind of play with your psyche, like, am I hurting her? But she seems to like it, so.
You have to hit her harder than you think you should be hitting a kid. but they tell us like that, because the hand is cupped, it doesn't hurt her. And when we look at her face, she doesn't seem to mind it at all.
Yeah.
It's more of just a, hey, someone's patting me on the back. We've got a little whiteboard that has her schedule kind of broken out, when she's supposed to eat, when she's supposed to sleep, when she's supposed to get her medicine, which medicine she's supposed to get, and when she's supposed to do her CPT. And that's pretty much her schedule right now.
So Sloan is double delta F508 is her genotype, which is the most common mutation, not necessarily the most common genotype. But what they do know about the double delta kiddos out there and adults out there is their digestive system is the #1 thing that they're gonna have issues with out the gate. So that was why it was just really important to Jordy and I to get her on enzymes to make sure that her weight was up, because we knew that we were gonna be battling that from the very get-go. The other thing they know about double deltas is they don't know how bad the lungs are gonna be. The lung insufficiency it varies from case to case and person to person. So we could be really lucky and have no issues. I really pray that that is the case. Or she could, show signs really early that she's having respiratory problems, and at which case we would jump into the breathing treatments that they would do. And then Jordy's been doing a lot of research with the Kalydeco drug.
Kalydeco, which came out, just earlier this year, but only for, a small portion of the people that have cystic fibrosis, just I think like 4%, and they're currently expanding it for like another 9–10%. But the stuff that they're doing right now, like the biggest, I guess, most exciting research is these combination drugs that will work with Kalydeco, so that they'll then work for people that have that delta F508 mutation. And so, our big hope is that that gets done, here as quickly as possible, and then, then hopefully it's just a, 2–3 pills a day type of thing. We don't know.
To band together with the families that are affected by this disease, it's humbling, I think would be a good word. It's very humbling to know that we are a part of something that is possibly going to be great. Jordy mentioned the other day that she's going to be a part of the generation that has a cure to a genetic disease. And I think that's pretty cool. And so the people that are in the room tonight, some have lost loved ones. We've lost loved ones to CF Madison. And that's unfortunate because, you know, there will be a cure. We're positive of that.
There's only 30,000 people in the United States that have the disease. And because of that, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation doesn't get money from the government. And so the money that gets put into research comes from events like this. And so, you know, I want everyone to know how thankful we are that, you know, somebody who doesn't have to care does care about our daughter and the other people that have cystic fibrosis, and that, you know, everything that you're doing tonight really, really does help.
With your financial support, you will bring us closer to a cure while adding more tomorrows for those struggling with cystic fibrosis. The possibility of a cure is only limited by dollars.
I never knew that I could care so much for people I didn't know before we had Sloan. They've given us the ability to move forward and be hopeful, because we know with every volunteer, there's dollars behind that volunteer, and with every dollar, almost 90 cents or 90 cents of every dollar is going to the research and to bettering my child's life. So they directly impact me, and I love them for that, because they're giving my child a chance to thrive. The outpour of "you can do this" has been a lifesaver for me, and it's kept me sane. The woe is me mentality is not a mentality that we will ever take on, and to just know that that's just not the mentality of the CF community, we feel like we belong.